Okay.
All right, Mayor.
Yes, ready to go.
All right, welcome everyone to the pre-council meeting for March 18th, 2021. But before we get started with the meeting, we have a public hearing to receive comments on the Comprehensive Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, the CAPER, for the program year of 2020. So with that, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And Janelle, I believe you're going to take it from there.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So the City of Lebanon is an entitlement community that receives funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to invest in local solutions to address housing and community development needs. The city receives funds from HUD exclusively through the Community Development Block Grant Program. The primary objective for the CDBG program is to develop viable communities through provisions of decent housing, suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities. In fiscal year 2020, the City of Lebanon prepared and adopted a 5-year consolidated plan, which outlines specific goals and objectives aimed at addressing various identified housing and community development needs in the City of Lebanon for fiscal year 2020 through 2024. The plan prepared for 2020 was the first annual action plan that implemented goals and objectives set forth in the 5-year consolidated plan. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the city had to work through many obstacles and did not get the chance to complete all the goals anticipated when the fiscal year 2020 annual action plan was prepared, but created additional goals to address needs in the community due to the pandemic. In fiscal year 2020, the city received $665,380 in CDBG entitlement grant funding and $58,061.35 in program income. The following activities have been completed in 2020 or will be completed in 2021 using CDBG funding: crime prevention, administration, code enforcement, emergency housing rehab program, and the first-time homebuyer program, street improvements, and water main improvements. Additionally, the city received 2 rounds of CDBG CV funding from the CARES Act. The city received $391,481 in round 1, which has assisted 70 businesses to date. There is still a remaining $80,000 to be dispersed to eligible Lebanon City businesses. The city also received an additional $206,891 in CDBG CV funds in round 3 that will be used in fiscal year 2021 to address homelessness needs in the community to prevent, prepare, and respond to COVID-19. The city prepared the fiscal year 2020 Comprehensive Annual Performance and Evaluation Report that outlines in detail all the goals and accomplishments I mentioned in fiscal year 2020 in comparison to the 5-year goals set forth in the comprehensive plan. The CAPER was posted on the city's website, Facebook, and placed on the front desk in room 218 on March 3rd, 2021 for viewers. Today is the last day to take public comments, and then the city will be submitting the CAPER to HUD no later than March 31st. At this time, I will take public comments and questions.
Janelle, do you see any issues with the funds that we have, and in light of COVID, over the past year, of actually executing those funds?
So actually, each entitlement that we get each year, we have a 7-year period to expend those funds. So we have some funding that we actually re-obligated in a prior public hearing that we had last year to go towards an activity that we're going to be completing in 2021. And those were on a short deadline to use those funds or else we lose them. But the funding that we received for 2020, we have 7 years to technically spend those funds. So we're in good shape. And a lot of those funds were in the momentum of spending them and getting the bids out to use the money. So
good. Great. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor, just to the mayor and Janelle and your administration, I know that filling all these forms and dotting every I and crossing every T is not something you do, on a slow afternoon. So thank you for all the effort that you've put in it, because we see all the money that's being able to come back through these programs, these community block grant money. So thank you for all the hard work, because every person in the city of Lebanon is benefited by it. And we thank you for taking the effort to do it so that it's available. Thank you very much.
Yes, Janelle does a great job and Melissa oversees it and they do a great job.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Any other questions from council? Okay. And I believe Chris Coyle and Laura LeBeau are on the line.
Yes.
Any questions from the media?
Yes, Laura does.
Okay. Laura?
I apologize, but the link, I was having difficulty connecting to your link, so I don't know. What did I just literally got in. I've been trying for like 5 minutes. Did I miss a public hearing?
You
Yes.
did, yes.
Okay.
Um,
Is this meeting being recorded for the YouTube channel?
Yes.
It is.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Mayor, you're good?
Yep, good.
Hearing no further questions, do I have a motion to adjourn the special meeting?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, this meeting is hereby closed. We're adjourned. Okay, moving on to our pre-council meeting, the assignment of the prayer. Monday, that's going to go to Mr. Chris Miller. You'll be up there. You should have all received from Cheryl the packet with the approved for the minutes and the budget report. Mayor, I don't know if you want to go over anything on the budget tonight. We can get maybe a quick overview on
Sure.
the budget.
So a little more than 16% of the year is completed. Our revenue is at 14%, but that is because the real estate tax bills did not go out as of February 28th. So we will be behind our budget on that, but our expenditures were at 10.5%, which is better than budget. So we're where we anticipate that we should have been or are. Were.
And do we have any questions from council? And I don't know from the media if we have any questions out there.
No.
Okay. Moving on, we have Janelle's up again. She has a department update. This is for the Community and Economic Development Administration. Janelle, you're up again.
Okay, I'll try to keep this short. Okay, so since I gave an update earlier during the public hearing on fiscal year 2020 CDBG program, and the mayor will be giving her State of the City address on April 7th, which will go into detail about the projects that the Community and Economic Development Department had been working on throughout 2020, I thought I would focus my department report on other exciting projects we've been busy working on, as well as providing an update on existing programs that were created in response to COVID-19. Currently, there are 4 funding opportunities to help residents, landlords, and/or businesses within the city of Lebanon. The Pennsylvania COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program provided Lebanon County with $1.6 million to aid hospitality industry businesses adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This program is being administered by the Lebanon Valley Economic Development Corporation. Applications opened on March 15th, 2021 and end on June 15th, 2021, or until all funds are expended. Grants will be awarded to eligible applicants for the purpose of reimbursing revenue losses in increments of $5,000 with a maximum grant amount of $50,000. Eligible entities for this program are strictly limited to those within the hospitality industry as defined by the North American Industry Classification System and have been designated within the following subsectors: accommodation subsector 721, and food services and drinking places subsector 722. To apply or for more information, visit forwardtogetherlebanon.com. The City of Lebanon is still accepting applications to provide recovery assistance to small businesses struggling under the financial impact of COVID-19. The City of Lebanon Small Business Recovery Assistance Program is a forgivable loan program designed to help small mom and pop businesses within the city. There is $80,000 remaining to assist Lebanon City businesses who did not already receive a forgivable loan through this program. Eligible businesses must be located in the City of Lebanon and have a $1 million or less annual revenue. Forgivable loan amounts are up to $7,500 according to annual business revenue noted below. Businesses with annual revenue less than $250,000 may apply for $2,500. Businesses with annual revenue between $250,001 and $500,000 may apply for $5,000. Businesses with annual revenue between $500,000 and $1 and $1 million may apply for $7,500. To apply, visit LebanonPA.org or email me at jmendoff@LebanonPA.org. The Emergency Rental Assistance Program is created to provide rental relief to Lebanon County households unable to pay rent and utilities during the COVID-19 pandemic. An eligible household is a rental household in which one or more individuals meet the following criteria: qualifies for unemployment or has experienced a reduction in household income, incurred significant costs, or experienced a financial hardship due to COVID-19, demonstrates a risk of experiencing homelessness or housing instability, and rental assistance provided to an eligible household should not be duplicated of any other financially funded rental assistance provided to that household. Eligible households that include an individual who've been unemployed for 90 days prior to the application for assistance and households with income at or below 50% of the annual median are to be prioritized for this assistance. Household income is determined as either the household's total income calculated for 2020 or the household's annual income at the time of the application. For household incomes determined by monthly income, income eligibility will be redetermined every 3 months. Eligible households may receive up to 12 months of rental assistance plus an additional 3 months if funds are available, and that will be determined by CAP. In addition to rental assistance, households may be eligible for utility assistance. Both of these programs are administered by the Community Action Partnership, or CAP, and these monies are available for these purposes only, so please apply. Visit LebanonCountyRentHelp.com for more information and to apply. Recently, the City of Lebanon has teamed up with SmartBiz and Customers Bank to create a streamlined application process for local businesses to apply for Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program loans. To learn more about this streamlined application process or to apply, visit LebanonPA.org. Temporary outdoor restaurant seating. So the City of Lebanon has also decided to continue the Lift Up Local program initiative to temporarily allow restaurants to expand their business footprint onto sidewalks located in the public right-of-way or on privately owned parking facilities without meeting certain city code and permitting requirements while there is indoor dining occupancy restrictions. If your business would like to provide outdoor seating, please contact me at jmendoff@LebanonPA.org. Moving on, upcoming community projects that are in the works and that it's funded by Penn State REACH project. The city is very proud and thankful to work with Penn State REACH project. Currently, the city is working on our year 3 projects, which include the following: $8,000 to improve 3 community gardens. The city is working with Lori Crawford with the Lebanon Valley Conservancy to complete these projects throughout 2021. $21,000 towards the design and surveying of Liberty Alley. The City of Lebanon and the Lebanon Valley Conservancy has created a design committee of community stakeholders to help design the improvements to Liberty Alley. $10,000. So $5,000 of that will go towards Samba for materials to complete a mountain bike trail around Coleman Memorial Park and the other $5,000 will go to Coleman Memorial Park Board for park maintenance costs. $139,500 to improve and construct the connector trail from Coleman Memorial Park to Union Canal Tunnel Park. $10,000 towards resurfacing of the Optimus tennis courts in partnership with the Lebanon Valley Tennis Association. $2,400 towards the City of Lebanon Healthy Initiatives programming, like Walk with the Mayor, Dancing in the Park, and Walk with a Cop. $3,000 towards the materials to resurface and improve the basketball courts in Coleman Memorial Park in partnership with Sweep the Streets and Coleman Memorial Park Board. An additional $5,000 for Samba's materials to make necessary improvements to the City of Lebanon bicycle playground in Coleman Memorial Park. And the bicycle playground is planned to be reopened in May following the completion of these improvements. And then finally, an additional $9,736 that will go towards the Wangert Memorial Park design. In total, REACH is providing $208,636 in 2021 to the City of Lebanon in order to be able to complete these amazing recreation and healthy initiative projects. Community outreach and communications. The City of Lebanon has been working hard to reach as many Lebanon City residents, business owners, visitors, and stakeholders through online communications. Since March 2020, the city has sent over 50 email updates and newsletters to over 2,800 residents, landlords, and business owners. To sign up to receive our email updates from the City of Lebanon, email cityadmin@lebanonpa.org. Additionally, the city shares the latest updates, news, and announcements daily on the City of Lebanon PA government Facebook. Currently, there is over 4,800 followers. To put the city's Facebook reach into perspective, within the last week of Facebook posts, the city has reached over 17,000 people. The city will continue our efforts to reach as many residents, business owners, visitors, and stakeholders to keep them up to date on the latest things happening in Lebanon City. Wrapping things up, the items I have listed above is just scratching the surface. Every day we are working on new projects and initiatives to continue to grow Lebanon. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and ask. Thank you.
Wow. Well, thank you, Janelle. That was extensive and like one good news story after another. And that's thank you to everyone on the mayor and the entire staff. Hopefully, our citizens are looking into the website and taking advantage of all the many opportunities we have there. That's great. With that, council, any other questions for Janelle?
Dan likes bike park.
Janelle, is there a program that helps property owners that are not receiving rent?
Yes. So it's the rental assistance program. So that's run by CAP. And that I can send you the website or I can put it in the chat. The money will go directly to the landlords, but they have to apply with their tenant. So the application isn't super extensive, but you have to apply together. So the landlord and the tenant really need to be sitting down together to complete the application. And it goes off of the tenant's eligibility. So if they're not paying because they lost their job because of COVID, or they've got a reduction in income. But I'm happy to send the link in the chat, and I can also send you, we recently put out an email about the program.
So,
That'd be great.
so one of the concerns that we have is that, as much as we want to increase our owner occupied housing numbers, and we really would like to flip them from 60% renter occupied and 40% owner occupied, we want to switch that, because that's when you'll have a more sustainable city. With that being said, rental units are an important part of the housing program in the city as a part of affordable housing units for city residents. And when renters are unable to pay their rent, landlords suffer because, they're business people. They have mortgages to pay most times and expenses that are related to the care and upkeep of a property. So when renters don't pay, what's the first thing you think is going to go? It's going to be the maintenance of the property, because they have to pay the mortgage. They have to cut the grass, or we're going to give them a ticket. I mean, so the upkeep, the exterior maintenance, the more maybe long-term things. And so it's really important, if this money is put out there, that our people are able to get a portion of it. We don't want it to go to somewhere else. This is the money, regardless of how you feel about it. This is the money that has been given to our community for this particular item. What we're concerned about is, when someone hasn't been paying their rent for whatever reason, it tends to create stress between the tenant and the landlord. And to get them to have to sit at a table together to fill out the application is, again, one of our concerns. We've talked about how we can try and make that happen. We've asked if maybe some changes could possibly be made to the program, that the renter could fill out their portion and maybe it could be saved, and then the landlord could come in and finish it up, or vice versa. But we've put on our thinking caps and we've asked some questions. So we're hoping that improvements can be made on it, and that we'll have a successful run, this time through with it. Because again, we need for those properties to be maintained. We need for the landlords to be made whole. And I'm sure the renters want to pay their rent. So, we're going to hope for the best here and see if we can get some changes made. I know there's a couple. Janelle put some links here in the chat if anybody wants to. And I don't know I think Laura had raised her hand, but then lowered it. So I'm not sure oh, she does have a question. Mr. Chair, would you like to hear from her now, or?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead, Laura.
Okay, hi, thank you. I'm curious, well, I just wanted to say, Chairman Carey, Sam Ortiz, the administrator of CAP, was at County Commissioners this morning, and they approved a contract with Fresh Creative for a 3-month advertising campaign about the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. So there's going to be more information going out to tenants and landlords about the program in the weeks ahead. The other thing, Mayor, I was just wondering, and I've asked this question before, I am just astounded that there's this money to give away in the Small Business Assistance Program, and it hasn't all been given away. And I'm wondering, A, how much is left? And B, is there a possibility that the businesses who received a grant could reapply to get more? I mean, it seems like people don't want this money, this free money.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating because we thought it would go faster. And, the first round we were working, and it's an awesome organization, so I don't want any negativity to be pushed that way, but, Community First Fund, and their application was a little bit more tedious than the application process that we have been doing in round 2. So we made it a little easier and less intrusive, because some of the questions that were asked in round 1, they wanted to know, like, how much money do you still have on your mortgage? And, some questions that, and I understand why they were being asked, because it is the way we had to put the criteria together. It's a forgivable loan, and there can't be any loan that is easier to forgive than this one. All you have to do is show us an invoice that you spent it on something for your business, and it will be forgiven. But because it was a loan, they had to ask those questions. We were able to, again, in round 2, revamp the program a little bit and make it a little less intrusive into a person's, more of the personal questions. So we were happy that that was able to happen, and we were able to push more money out. We were at around $35,000, and then we had some additional program income that we added. We didn't spend as much in administration because we took it on ourselves in round 2. So we lost Dan, let me bring him back. So we were able to push more money into it. So it was down to 35,000, Laura. And then because we divvied up the money in a different way because of less administration costs, we were able to put more towards it. but yeah, we're kind of gearing up and doing some more marketing of it ourselves. It's kind of sad because there are a lot of small businesses out there that, you know, they're energetic and they're enthusiastic and they have a real knack for doing what they're doing. But when it comes to the administrative part of it, they don't have time for it, maybe, you know, or, you know, they put in so many hours that I don't know if it's you just don't want to do one more thing. And it's not a huge sum of money, but I look at it as any money is, you know, it can pay a month or two of rent. So we would love to distribute the rest of the money, and we have had some stragglers come in, but yeah, we want to get the word out there that there's still money there. And we've actually added to the pot to have even more money.
But people who previously were awarded something couldn't reapply for some additional funding?
So right now, no, but that doesn't mean that we won't do that. We'll probably, you know, because we have until, is it the end of the year, Janelle, to spend it?
Ideally, we'd like to spend it by the end of the year, but it's still, you've got 7 years to spend. It's just like a normal CDBG allocation and like entitlement. But it has to be used to prepare, prevent, and respond to COVID-19. So hopefully we're not dealing with that in 7 years from now. And so we have to use the money sooner rather than later.
So what we'll do is we'll probably do one more big marketing push on it and see who we get in. And then, you know, and we went door to door. We went door to door. We used Guadalupe with Juntos de Lebanon to try and reach our Hispanic businesses. And I'm concerned because I think they could really use some help. And we haven't had the percentage of Hispanic businesses that I would like to have seen. So we'll try and give it another push. And then if we still have money left, then we probably could reopen it again to businesses that have received it. We really wanted to spread the love a little bit and to give, you know, a little to everyone, but.
And some businesses applied and didn't meet qualifications because they were over the annual revenue cap. But now that they are filing their 2020 taxes, some of those businesses, I can't imagine, made over $1 million. And so they'll be able to apply for the funding now and be eligible because they wouldn't have made over $1 million. So hopefully over the next few weeks, we'll see several more applications. We have $80,000 to use yet.
And Janelle, that's a good point. So maybe we could just push that out on a social media post, or even just go back to those businesses and let them know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else for questions for Janelle? Okay. Again, Janelle, thank you so much. Very informative. And I'm sure we'll be coming back around on this in the coming months to see how you're doing there. So, all right. Moving on, we'll have one communication on Monday from Mayor Sherry Capello informing council of the appointment of Brian Martin as an alternate member of the Zoning Hearing Board to fill the unexpired term of Craig Gates, and that'll be effective March 16th, 2021. And Mayor, if you could maybe.
Sure. So the Pennsylvania let's start again. The Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, that's a mouthful, is the guidebook for zoning, subdivision, land development matters. And although we are a strong mayor form of government, in the MPC, it indicates that the governing body must appoint someone to the zoning hearing board by resolution. So the mayor and council must appoint, which is why you'll see under resolution another item regarding this issue. An alternate member is, they only may vote when they're needed to make a quorum. Now, they are allowed to participate in any proceeding or discussion of the board, but they're only entitled to vote if them as a body is needed to meet a quorum. And regarding the expiration of the term, if you see there, it says it expires on April 13th of this year. The reason why we didn't just wait a month and just appoint him to a 3-year term is because Yesterday, we had some zoning hearing boards, some hearings scheduled, and we didn't have any hearings for a period of
Everything's
time.
frozen.
And we wanted to give him an opportunity to be involved in a hearing in case we don't have any for a couple months. So that's why we appointed him, so he could attend those hearings yesterday, get acclimated to what transpires at a hearing. So next month, we'll have to come back and reappoint him to the full term then. That's why you see it that way. And just to tell you a little bit about Brian Martin. So he is a part, if anyone from our community knows, of the Celtic Martins. He is actually the violin playing one. He is not the, what do you call that? The stomping. His sisters do the dancing part, but the whole family's involved. If anyone, they play at area and regional places when we don't have COVID. I got to see them at the Peach Festival at Seifert's Orchards, and I had my grandson, and he just loved it. I love to dance, and apparently he loves to dance too, because he was enjoying himself. But Brian is also a youth leader at Calvary Church, and his family owns and operates a small business. They have a painting contracting business, and he wants to get more involved with his community. So we had a vacancy. He has to be involved, and that's where we are.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Any questions from council? And from the media, Mayor?
No.
Okay. Moving on, we'll have 4 resolutions. The first resolution is authorizing the disposition of miscellaneous personal property in the various departments in preparation for the move of city offices in accordance with section 1917 of the Third Class City Code. And Mayor, if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Sure. Well, first of all, we'd like to revise the section number. It should be, I guess, 12,402.1 subsection C of the Third Class City Code. They issued a new Third Class City Code, and the section numbers changed.
Okay.
So we apologize for that. So Cheryl will make that correction and get that out to you for Monday. This is really just standard. Usually what happens is for personal property, most things are taken to a public auction every other year. There's a lot of items that are down in the vault or in the storage room that really have no value, old plastic file storage bins and, broken calculators or whatnot. And so it's just things like that. And as we're coming across them, as we're cleaning up and getting things ready to come before you for, in accordance with the retention schedule, disposition of records, all of those things. This is just to help us to keep going, that we can get rid of things as we're moving along, since we're moving on,
Okay.
not uptown, downtown.
And this is a process that's been going on month to month here, so.
Yeah.
Any questions from council? And from the media?
No.
Okay, and who would like to take this resolution on Monday night?
I'll take it.
All right, thank you, Chris. Chris Miller will take that resolution. Moving on, the second resolution that we have on Monday night is going to be to the Commissioners of Lebanon County requesting $25,477 in financial aid for the improvement of city streets and authorizing the proper officials to execute an application for the same. And this is supplemental funds for Plan 2021 paving projects. And Mayor, again, if you could fill us in on this a little more.
Okay. So supplemental funds is supplemental to, general fund or liquid fuel funds or CDBG funding. This is actually, though, our annual allocation. That's the exact same amount each year that we receive from the county's allocation. Our state allocation comes through our county, and it's based on our population. you all are aware our population is 25,477 as of the last census. So that is the amount that we get annually. What we have to do is have a resolution approved that states how we're going to spend that. And this would be receipted and expended from the general fund. The rest of the paving project money would come from, again, either liquid fuel or separately from the CDBG fund. So again, this is just our annual allocation.
Again, another yearly item that we've seen before.
Yes.
Okay, and any questions from council? Okay, and from the media?
No.
And I will go ahead and take that resolution. And moving on to the third resolution authorizing the disposition of various documents in the police department, the Department of Administration, and the Community and Economic Development Office. Mayor?
Sure. So again, this is in accordance with the state's Retention Act for retention and disposition schedule for records of Pennsylvania municipalities. And we have a list of items in the police department. It's criminal cases over 20 years old, summary cases over 5 years, parking citations, camping permits and administration, building rentals, key deposits, pavilion rentals, expired leases in admin, like the pool concession stand, the billboard at 7th and Willow Streets, the different rooms in the municipal building, are recreational concession stands for other organizations, and things like that.
All right, thank you, Mayor. And I guess it stands out, the first thing I see is the criminal cases. Are those backed up, or, and I think we've talked about this before, when we look at things like that, and we talk about those items are backed up, or we have copies, or not?
Well, this is to say that you're getting rid of them.
Yes. Okay.
We're getting rid of them.
All right. And any other?
We've talked before about
Yeah.
having hard copies and electronic copies, and depending on what software we have. But this resolution before you is to actually dispose of the record, that it won't exist anymore.
Okay. Any other questions from council? And from the media?
I'll take that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. All right, moving on to the
You're
last
welcome.
resolution for Monday night, confirming the appointment of Brian Martin to the City of Lebanon Zoning Hearing Board as an alternate member to fill the unexpired term of Craig Gates, effective March 16th, 2021. And the mayor has gone over that. I don't think we need to go over that again.
I could take that
I'll
one too,
be-
Chairman.
It was
That
Dan.
That was Dan? All right, thank you, Dan. Okay. That is our formal agenda for Monday night. So at this time, I'll go ahead and open it up to council. Any questions or concerns you'd like to bring forward tonight?
Sorry, Wayne.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Absolutely, Richard.
I had a constituent ask if there was going to be a spring cleanup this April, and I said I would get back to them. And I don't know if Robin has a date set for that, or if we're even having one.
So we are having a United Way Day of Caring for our county. And Janelle, if you want to, we have pretty many projects listed on there that people can sign up for through the United Way website.
Yeah, United Way has a portal, and all of the city's Day of Caring activities, which include all the parks cleanups, downtown parking lot cleanups, all of those are on there. So if they're looking to do an activity through the city, or any other organization that has a volunteer opportunity. They're all listed on United Way's portal. And I will quickly pull that up and send the link in our chat.
Okay.
And it's, I don't have my calendar here, April
April 17th.
17th, Saturday, April 17th.
April 17th.
Any other questions from council? Okay, and any questions from the media?
Richard, is that what you meant, or did you mean like yard waste? You're on mute.
Yeah. Actually, I meant both. I wouldn't to know about the date for the day of caring, but also, is there going to be a waste cleanup offered to the city residents?
So Robin,
Yes, that's scheduled for the week of the 19th.
April.
Okay, so
April.
after the day of caring. Okay, after the
Right.
day of caring.
Yeah, you can start putting
Okay,
your
thank
waste
you.
out that weekend.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, Laura has a question.
okay. Laura?
Yes, thank you. I was driving on South 12th Street and crossing over Walnut and saw the sides of the intersection there kind of by Jubilee Ministries all torn apart. And I'm assuming that is the Walnut Street work going forward, because it looked like they were tearing up the sides for like curb cuts or something.
So it was actually on Walnut Street though?
Well, yeah, you know, where Walnut Street sort of curves from around behind and then comes around by Jubilee.
Yes. So they did start the handicap curb cuts. That was started last week.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's the first part of the resurfacing for this year. They're going to do the curb cuts first, and then move to the next portion of what needs to be done. But yeah, that will happen for a couple months. It'll take them a couple months to do all of those. And if you drive down, you can see white dotted lines like at the handicap curb cuts, and you can see which ones will be redone. Some of them, they already comply with their standards, but unfortunately from some of the handicap curb cuts that were put in several years ago, the requirements have changed and they have to be redone.
And the other thing I was just wondering, I remember we had spoken via email some months back in the end of 2020 about residents on Walnut Street who did not pay to have their curbing refurbished and fixed and everything. Is that just going to be there? Those curbs are just going to look terrible as the resurfacing goes along?
So unfortunately, although we gave several years of notice prior to this project starting, COVID really played havoc with a lot of things for a lot of people in many different areas. So although it really would mean a better overall project long-term for sustainability of the road, to make sure that all of the curbs are properly constructed. Again, because of COVID, we really didn't have a choice. There was no way that the city could incur the costs to come in and redo the curbs for as many properties that needed to be done. So in order to try to put some fairness onto it, because there were some property owners that did do what they needed to do and were able to do that. So we couldn't just ignore it. So unfortunately, what we had to do was to put on record with the properties that their curbs do not meet the regulations and need to be repaired or replaced. We put a letter on record. So if they go to sell the property, there would be this violation of record on the property. And then the owner, the buyer that would be purchasing the property would be aware of it so that it could be taken care of at that time. That doesn't help with this particular resurfacing project. But again, because of COVID, we were trying to work with the residents, and trying to understand the predicament they were in and still keep our project moving forward. So that was our compromise.
And isn't there some statute or something related to this that a prospective new buyer with a curb that didn't get fixed, they can't go ahead and do it for a certain number of years? They can't tear up the pavement or anything like that?
Yeah, so there's a 5-year moratorium unless it's an emergency, like there's a gas leak or something like that. So what would happen is it's to inform the buyer that this is outstanding. So then it would be up to the buyer to negotiate. Okay, so if it's going to cost $2,000 to repair that curb or $5,000 to repair that curb, then they either get in my opinion, they would either get a reduction in the price of the home, or money could be put into, and maybe, this is where Donna wants to step in, but into escrow, or somehow that they're made whole, or at least, it's buyer beware. The buyer's notification certificate is something that is allowed for cities to be able to require, so that the buyer is notified of any outstanding issues or monies or fines that are owed on a property. So it would be up to the potential buyer to determine how they want to handle that, but at least they're notified of it.
Okay.
All right. And Mayor, one final comment, just to let everyone know, happy to report that the county has opened up the COVID-19 vaccination center at the old Kmart building. We opened up yesterday. Yesterday we did over 600 vaccinations. Today we're in the process of going for 1,200 vaccinations, as well as another 1,200 tomorrow. We've been told by the state we should be receiving another 3,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine for next week and following week. So fingers crossed, everything's going well, and it's a good news story. We should find out tomorrow what the state's allocation is, and if anyone wants to get on the list for notification of vaccine and doses, they can go to lcdes.org. And if they just sign up for our COVID-19 information newsletter, that will put their email address into a bin with everyone else. As soon as we find out that vaccine is available, we'll blast out to everyone that is on that list, and they'll know that it's open. The website is open to then actually go ahead and get a time and a date. So again, a good news story. Everything's going well down there, and we're all excited. So
That's great.
it is. So it's been a long year. So
I do have one quick item, if I may.
absolutely, Mayor.
So although this isn't really specifically to Lebanon City, they did tie this survey, this study, to most larger cities. Their metropolitan area is just the city. For Lebanon, our metropolitan is Lebanon County. And a study was just released. It was performed by Ownerly, which is, I think, like a mortgage company, real estate or something. Maybe Dan would know better. But it's called Zoomtown USA, America's Best Cities for Remote Workers. And what they look at is affordable homes, speedy internet connection, high quality of life with access to green space and more. And they're talking about these hidden gem cities in our country have a lot to offer to remote workers. And Lebanon City, Lebanon Metropolitan, was #1 in the country.
All right.
And what one of the key takeaways from the study was that Southern Pennsylvania is really a sweet spot. And that is, in fact, not only Lebanon, but York, Hanover, and Lancaster. we're all featured in one of the top 10 cities. And it's, all of us have a cost of living that's 2 to 5% below the United States average. We have an abundance of free Wi-Fi. We have a good selection of broadband providers, and our medium house values are under 230,000. And that's lower than what the national average is. So it's something that we should try and tout, but yeah.
Good stuff. We're ending on a high note tonight.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Mayor. That's great
Welcome.
news. Anyone else? All right. I think we'll call it a night, and we'll see everyone on Monday night, 6:30, March 22nd. Good night, everyone.